So I've tried filming about 5-6 intros to this, don't really know how to start it. This isn't planned or scripted, but I'm going to talk about my alcoholism. So 3 years ago, I made a conscious choice to stop drinking because it was slowly killing me. I was making stupid decisions, messing up a lot of things. Hangovers were not just lasting a few hours, they lasted days because of the amounts I would consume. And it was just ruining my life slowly. And if I hadn't have stopped, could have lost quite a lot. It's a very, very odd one. I had a massive conversation with my wife shortly after a night out on the 1st of December. So the last time I would have drunk would have been 1st December into the second early hours of drinking. And I just got smashed out of my face, completely mortal. And stumbled somehow to a taxi that let me in, paid over the odds to get home, threw up beside the garage, and staggered on in. Now, 3 years ago, it was just when the cafe was opening. We were opening our dog cafe. So, been there for the opening day. I was meant to go in after my office job in the afternoon. Now, I didn't wake up. I got up at about 1 o'clock. Couldn't even phone my office. Managed to message someone there and let them know. And then fell asleep, passed out again, and my wife got home with the dogs, and we then went out. I think it was it was on the 5th, so we didn't talk really. We just she was angry, understandably, because I'd let her down. And then on the 5th, she came back home and she said, let's go for a drive. And we drove down the road about 3 minutes away, pulled up. She pretty much gave me an ultimatum, which is fair considering what had happened. And it was at that point I made the decision to stop drinking, and we went shopping. And that's why I've got this here. It says the 5th of December 2017. It says Sainsbury's on it, or Sainsbury, and it's a penny. Now, I found that shortly after walking through the shop after the conversation, and I thought, well, a lucky penny. I don't believe in luck and all that. I think there's good and bad times. It happens, everyone has good and bad times, but I thought the old saying, and I've used that to look at any time I felt weak. So I've had that as a point of reference. So if I've ever felt like I'm going to have a wobble or feel weak or want some substance, whiskey, vodka, red wine, I would look at that. So really proud that it's been 3 years and still going. One of the most frustrating questions that you get as a recovering alcoholic is, you never had, or it's not even a question, it's more of a statement that I get quite often. And people go, you didn't have a drinking problem, you didn't drink that much. Now, that's frustrating because I may not have been your typical alcoholic down at the pub as soon as work finished, drinking pint after pint. I was what I would call a chaotic alcoholic, where if I went to a restaurant, I couldn't just have one drink. I would have a glass of wine and I'd have to have the bottle of wine. I would have a single whiskey after dinner and then I'd have to have 3 more doubles or one on the hour. So I couldn't control my consumption once I started, and that was the risk. Same if I went on a night out, I would not go out for a single drink. No matter how much I would tell myself, I would go, well, you've had one, have one more. Well, you've had 2, have another. Well, you've had 5, you've had 6, and it would spiral and spiral and spiral. And that's really hard to control. And mentally, you start finding excuses to drink. And I would do that constantly. Now, looking back over teenage years, people are put down to, you're a teenager, you're meant to go get drunk, you're meant to do this. No, you're not. Just because you're a teenager and you're first learning about alcohol, you should be learning about it, enjoying the occasional drink, not going out and getting smashed. And there was a culture created in my head that fueled my addiction and my addictive traits. And since then, I would say I've been on a spiral with addiction, and it took a long time to identify and do something. Even when I thought, at a point, I thought I had it more controlled because I started not going out to clubs and pubs and drinking so heavily, but I would drink at home. And that's when I started drinking wine and bottles of wine. And I fell in love with red wine. Now, red wine was my go-to drink. I'd have it with a meal. I'd have it as soon as I got home from work. I would have a glass as I was cooking dinner, but that wasn't enough. I'd have to have a second and a third, and then progress to a bottle. And there would be periods where, if Tanya went away for a training week with her work, I would drink minimum a bottle of wine every night, even though I'd work the next day. But you get consistent, you get good at it, and that's scary looking back on it, that I was reliant on it. And my hangovers, I was getting hangovers, but I was learning how to handle the hangover, and I figured out that I could have a bottle and a half of wine if I'm on a later start, but I'd have to stop drinking by 2 a.m. So your mind starts learning how to make your alcoholism work for you, which is horrific, absolutely horrific. And people say hindsight's a wonderful thing. It is. It's such an unusual thing to look back on. I've never spoke publicly like this. This is more of a ramble, if I'm honest. I'm not structuring any of my videos. It's just getting stuff off my chest. But it was quite a momentous occasion that it's now been 3 years. And I'm proud that I made that decision to stop, because I could be in such a worse place right now if I hadn't. There's a lot of benefits of stopping drinking. I felt a lot, well, you go through a weird withdrawal, I think, and I chose to stop leading up to Christmas. Again, my mindset with that was, if I can stop this time of year when everyone's drinking heavily and New Year's and blah, and then I can quit it indefinitely. That was my logic with it. So I was like, if I can do it now, I'm fine. If I can't, then I'm screwed. So that period was hard, being around people. And even my wife at the time, because we had family over, she'd be pouring drinks, she'd naturally just pour me a drink and then go, oh crap, what am I doing? And instinct, people do it naturally. But there was definitely a period of time, and I wish that I could recall how long, where I would crave drinks, I would crave wine, I'd crave whiskey, and we go on nights out and I'm watching people drink, I'm like, oh, I wish I could have that. But I'd substitute the alcohol by having a soft drink maybe, or if people were having cans, everyone around me was having cans, so I'd just get a can of Diet Iron Brew or something. Or if I was going crazy, full sugar, you know. But there was definitely at least a few months period where there was strong cravings, and then after a while it just sort of disappears, which is where I'm at now and have been for a long time with it. Even during this whole lockdown, people have been, and again, this is an old one, people are like, oh, you haven't gone back to drinking, oh, you still don't drink? Like, yeah, I don't drink. I've told you I have quit drinking for a purpose. It still bemuses people, and people don't always understand your own personal decisions. I think you very much know when something's a problem for yourself, and not everyone's going to see your problems. And yeah, alcohol was one of my big problems. So very happy I stopped. Very happy to actually make this video 3 years after stopping. It's a bit rambly, but feels great to actually say that it's been 3 full years now. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that now. Enjoy your days. Feel free to message me if you've got any questions about it. And please ignore this massive spot on my lip. I woke up with it this morning after, well, I didn't realise it was there. I had a beard this morning. I've shaved it, and then there was just a massive spot which I popped, and now it's just this monstrosity of a red thing. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Bye.